Well, the pole didn't convert to a win on Sunday for Max Verstappen at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and the way it happened just didn't do justice to the outcome. I don't want to take anything away from Oscar Piastri. He drove a great race and fully deserved the win, but I genuinely believe that if it weren't for the first lap, first corner drama, the result could have been very different. So let's start from the beginning. How it all unfolded under the night sky on Sunday. After taking a breathtaking pole in qualifying, Max lined up on the front row alongside Oscar Piastri. The lights went out pretty quickly this time, proving once again that the timing is indeed random. The Jeddah Corniche circuit has a very short run into turn 1, so whoever gets the better launch usually takes the lead. Oscar, already on the inside line, managed to get a better start than Max, something that rarely happens as Max is usually excellent off the line. That great launch put Oscar right alongside him into turn 1, and Oscar did what, let's be honest, Max himself would have done if their positions were reversed. He fully committed, braked a little later, and claimed the corner. Max, having already overshot slightly, had nowhere to go and ended up cutting the corner to keep the lead. A few moments later, the safety car was deployed for an incident between Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. After the safety car period, racing resumed, and Max was handed a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. And that penalty completely changed the race for Max. What should have been another commanding drive, like in Japan, ended up being the opposite. As soon as the penalty was announced, I think everyone knew the win was gone. The track characteristics were similar to Suzuka this year. Clean air made a huge difference. If Max was in the lead without the penalty, there's no way anyone was getting past him. McLaren may have been the quicker car, but Max and the Red Bull had just enough to fight them and keep them at bay. Now, what do I think of the penalty? Look, a lot of people might disagree with me here. Some say it was inconsistent, that stewards should be more lenient on lap 1 incidents, and in the past, Max has received penalties for doing something similar to what Oscar did, and all of those are fair arguments. Lap 1 is chaotic, adrenaline is high, and no one wants to give up the lead. But in my opinion, the penalty was kind of justified. Max did gain an advantage by leaving the track. And beyond just this incident, it's also about setting a precedent. At the highest level of motorsport, you don't want to see drivers going off track to keep or gain positions. It looks unprofessional and damages the integrity of the sport. The rules exist for a reason, and they need to be enforced consistently. So I do feel the penalty was fair. And yes, I remember the similar 2021 Lewis and Max incident in Abu Dhabi, but that doesn't mean this one should be ignored too. Now onto the bigger question. Where did Red Bull get it wrong? After Max cut the corner on lap 1, they should have immediately told him to give the position back to Oscar and avoid a penalty. I was stunned they didn't do it. Not right after the incident, not even after the safety car. They had multiple chances. Sometimes the driver might not get the clearest picture of what exactly happened, so it was the team's job to make them aware of their mistake. What baffles me is their reasoning. I can't wrap my head around it. They had to know a penalty was coming. This isn't the first time they've been in a situation like this. Maybe in the past, when the Red Bull was so dominant, they could afford a 5 or 10 second penalty and still finish 20 seconds ahead. But this time, that wasn't the case. There was no way Max was going to pull a 5-second gap to Oscar before the pit stop. Overtaking was tough, sure, but the McLaren was quick and the gap was never going over 2 to 3 seconds. Did Red Bull seriously believe Max could pit and then catch and pass both Hamilton and Piastri to win? I just don't understand how they fumbled that. After the race, Christian Horner gave a somewhat weak and dry response when asked the question.
And no, I mean, we have this notion of let them race. I don't know where Max was supposed to go at that first corner. We were trying to get the gap at the pit stop, even with the penalty, but it wasn't to be. So
now, I'm not saying that giving the place back would have guaranteed Max the win, because McLaren looked incredibly strong in clean air, but it would have given Max a much better chance to fight for the victory. The best opportunity was right after the safety car. Max is brilliant at restarts. Maybe he could have caught Oscar off guard. And with DRS and Red Bull's top speed advantage, we could have seen a proper battle. Now, what that 5-second penalty did was drop Max a little too far behind Lewis and Oscar after the pit stops. Oscar was quickly able to overtake Lewis, while it took Max a while to catch up and get past him. By the time Max cleared the Ferrari, the gap to Piastri was already about 4 seconds, despite Piastri losing around a second due to a slow pit stop. That 4-second gap took the pressure off Oscar, and he just started pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap, extending the gap to almost 5 seconds and sealing the fate of the race. There was no way Max was going to close that down. He eventually finished 2.7 seconds behind Oscar, proving that things could have been very different without that penalty. In the end, I think Red Bull made a mistake they really shouldn't have made, especially with their experience. Maybe their prediction model told them something else. but to me, it was a silly, avoidable error. I hope they learn from it and avoid these situations in the future, especially now that the car looks stronger and more competitive. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on the incident, and I'll see you guys in the next one.